Hey guys, I'm Cubic Souls, and in this video, I'm going to show you some of the best cubes for beginners that are basically just starting out solving Rubik's Cubes, and you want to know what kind of cubes you want, because there are hundreds and thousands on the market, and none of them look like you won't be able to tell what the difference is between any of them. So today I'm going to help you with that by showing you a few cubes that I can recommend, and a set of cubes that I really can't recommend. So to start this off, all the links to all of these cubes will be in the description below if you want to buy these yourself. Some of them can start at about £18 and they go cheapest around about £4, so they're very within budget. They're all 3x3 basic Rubik's cubes. And so the first one I'm going to show you is the one that I can't recommend, the Rubik's branded cube. And I actually own one of these cubes myself. And yeah, it's a good cube, but after a while the pieces loosen up a lot and they end up sticking and you can't turn it as well. And eventually the cube just becomes useless because you try to turn it again, it just gets stuck. It's horrible. So you're thinking, are you insane or something? It's a Rubik's branded cube. It's going to be better than every other cube on this list because this is the real one. But what's actually happening is, if this was 1980, if this was the 1980s, I would say go for the Rubik's cube. But this isn't the 1980s. And I'm not going to tell you to go for the Rubik's cube, because what's happened to the Rubik's company is that they're making their cubes in a worse quality so that they don't last as long and people buy more of them. It's purely to make money now. This cube has good turning to start off with, but slowly deteriorates, and for one Rubik's cube that breaks pretty much, that you can't use as well in months, so you use it for 3 months and it's done, for almost £20, that's really expensive for what this is, and it's not really a cube I'd recommend at all. So without further ado, we'll go straight on to the next cube. And here we have the Mo Wei Long GTS Speed Cube 3x3. This is one of the higher end cubes. It's a little bit more expensive than most of the cubes on this list at £16, but it's an incredible cube. You can see in here around the centerpiece, so in these 4 gaps, this will help it corner cut, and if you don't know what corner cutting is, it's basically where the pieces aren't aligned perfectly, so it makes the shape of a cube, but when you turn it, it can still turn normally. Basically, is a weird way of explaining it. But I would go for this cube purely because it's going to last you a long time. It's an excellent speed. It's also stickerless, meaning that all of these on here aren't stickered. At least that's what it says here. It may actually be lying, I'm not sure, I haven't owned this cube. But I do know for a fact that it is a good turning cube, as someone I know uses this cube, and it is incredible. The turning is extremely good, and it doesn't deteriorate like the normal Rubik's Cube. So I would recommend this cube if you're trying to solve quickly, and not just a casual solver. If you're a casual solver that solves things quite slowly, maybe 5 minutes, something like that, I'd go for the Rubik's Cube. But purely for speed solving, I would go for this cube. Or if your budget's a little lower, you can turn to one of the other cubes on this list. Speaking of, we'll move on to the next one, which is incredibly cheap at £4.20. Sheng Xiao's 3x3 Magic Cube, in white actually. I like this cube in white actually because, I don't know, white cubes look a lot better to me. Don't call me racist for saying this. Black cubes to white cubes, the contrast with the colours, I don't know, to me it looks a lot better. But this has excellent corner cutting. You can see here that obviously these are stickered. I think this is stickered anyway. Yeah, stickers. As far as I've solved this cube a couple of times and it's never popped. And if you don't know what popping is, it's basically where a cube piece pops out of where it's meant to be without you trying to pull it off. I would recommend the cube if you're on a low budget, want a fast turning cube, but not too much corner cutting, so you're quite good at lining up the pieces. Okay, so without further ado, we'll move on to the next cube, which is slightly more expensive, the Dayan Magic Puzzle Speed Cube at £8, or almost £9. This cube is okay, it's not perfect. I'm pretty sure it's stickered. Yep, stickers. I'm not a fan of the colour scheme, so I wouldn't go for this cube personally. I don't like their greens. I think they look quite dull and bland. As well as the red, as opposed to some of the other reds that I've seen on cubes before. But if you're just looking for a decent cube that does corner cut quite well, or it corner cuts quite well, but it doesn't, like, if you finger trick it, where finger tricking is basically using one finger to flick a side around instead of using your whole hand to turn the cube, you probably won't get it to the exact alignment, so it's good to go to this cube if you can't control your finger tricking too well or turning the cube, and you want to be fast at the same time, because this has quite good corner cutting. So without further ado, we'll move on to the next cube, which is one of my favourites, the V-Cube 3, pillowed version. And you're probably thinking, if I can expand a view here, zoom in. Okay, that's as much as it's doing. Why is the cube curved? And why is it, why is it curved in general? And why does it have black on it? Honestly, just a design choice, but if you're quite gentle with cubes, and you like the design of this cube, and have a semi-decent budget, and don't really like any of the other cubes I've shown you so far, you can go for this one. It comes in a very nicely packed box, actually. This is an extremely nice box, with a very nice bag, actually. I would honestly buy this purely for the box. I feel like the box is worth like £10. Anyway, back to this cube. The corner cutting isn't great, but if you're looking for a cube with a good design, and just a fun little, as it says, a fun modern take on a classic puzzle, I would go for this cube, because it's interesting. I like it. It's a sort of not really expected thing from a Rubik's Cube, and yeah, I like it. So going on to the next and final cube, actually. The Cyclone Boys Magic Cube Stickerless. This cube is incredible. That's all I have to say. Any Cyclone Boys cube is amazing. It turns incredibly. The corner cutting is on point. You could turn this piece 45 degrees that way, turn this side up, and it would still turn normally. And it's an incredible cube. Just, that's all I can say about it. It's just, oh my god, it's an amazing cube. Basically, I would go for this cube if you're a fan of stickerless cubes, because these, I think, personally, have some of the best, because, I mean, look at these colour schemes, they're very vibrant. That's actually what is normally orange on a normal Rubik's Cube is sort of a weird shade between pink and orange. That's the only thing I don't like about this cube, is this one side here, because it's quite annoying to tell the difference between the red and the pink when you're looking at the cube quickly. I mean, if you look at that, they have basically the same glow. But this cube is incredible for me. I've used it before. I've also used their 2x2, which I would also recommend buying. It may actually be in here. Yep, there it is. The Cyclone Boys 2x2, which is an amazing cube. But yeah, I'd recommend this cube if you're looking for fast turning, amazing corner cutting, and budget. It's a budget cube by all means. At £5, you really can't go wrong with this cube at all. So, if you like this video, please make it your favourite and share it. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll be with you next time with either a cube review or first impressions. I'll see you guys in the next video.